Hi there, Andy Beck here again, author of Folk Springs Eternal. It's nice to see you in the second video. So what we're going to be looking at in this video is myth busting. That's right, we're going to be busting through some myths or negative beliefs that people hold about themselves that stop many people from making any progress at all on their journey. Whether you be writing a book, starting a meditation practice, or starting any kind of business, there are many people who hold negative self-beliefs about themselves, such as, I don't have enough money, I'm not good enough, and so on and so forth. So what we need to do in this video is look at the most common negative beliefs that people hold about themselves and bust through them so that you will believe that you're worthy and that you can get started and that you can have success. So you might want to grab either a pen and a piece of paper or just make some notes on which of these particularly resonate with you. Let's get started. So myth number one is, I don't know what I'm passionate about. Now that might surprise you. You might think, how can someone not know what they're passionate about? But the fact is, not everybody is a lucky one. I happen to be a lucky one. I happen to know that music and writing are my two biggest passions. But some people do have difficulty pinning down what it is that they're passionate about. If that's you, then my first advice would be, think about what your hobbies and your pastimes are. It might sound obvious, but make a list of things that you enjoy, especially if there's anything that you were so completely absorbed by recently. If there's something where you lost all track of time, something that genuinely captivated you and made you that happy that you lost track of time, definitely write that down. Then start to think of ways that you could monetize and create impact with these hobbies. Score them out of 10. The closer that something is to 10, the more impactful you think it could be, or the more you think that it's got potential. And the less potential you think something has, obviously you score it closer to 0. But do that and then see what you end up with. You might be surprised. Also, if something feels real to you at this stage, then it probably is. At this stage, we're brainstorming ideas, so no idea is ridiculous or stupid. Write down what it is that you're interested in, even if it seems ridiculous, and think of ways that you might be able to create some impact and some income with those ideas, and then score them out of 10 and see what you've got at the end. Now, of course, it's all well and good to pin down what it is that genuinely makes you happy, but one argument I hear a lot is that this is all too risky financially. Some people believe that in order to build up their passion or their entrepreneurship on the side, that might involve things like quitting their job so that they've got the time and the energy to do what it is that they want to do. What I would suggest is not quitting your job. You don't forcibly have to walk into work tomorrow and hand in your resignation to your boss and say, hi, I'm off, I'm going to go and live my dream. No, my recommendation would be to sit down and to figure out how much you really need per month. Put your earnings and outgoings in a spreadsheet. Make a list of which earnings are absolutely necessary, which are absolutely unnecessary, and which ones would be nice to have. And then see how much you really need from month to month. This is only something temporary while we build up your business or your entrepreneurship on the side. So you can afford to take a couple of losses to begin with. There's maybe a subscription or a certain package that you don't use much that you could get rid of. You may be surprised as to how little you really need every month. Once you've figured out how much you genuinely need to cover your bills and other outgoings every month, consider reducing your working hours if you can. This will give you the time and the energy that you need to put into your side business, in the same way that it's given me the time I've needed to work on writing Folk Springs Eternal and recording my folk music. So see if reducing your hours in the office or in whichever job you're working in may be something you can do to give you that all-important time on the side. This leads us into myth number 3. I don't have enough money. Now, that's something that I also hear a lot. People think, well, it must cost hundreds and hundreds or even possibly thousands of pounds or dollars to start my own business. The good news is you don't actually need all that much money to get yourself going, not in the initial run. Investment is something that might come later, but you don't even need an investor to help you to get going, or necessarily even a business partner. With things like the free traffic that you can get on social media, you'd be surprised as to how little money you need to spend initially. Some tools out there, such as Canva.com, can be obtained and used for very cheaply. For example, the Canva Lite professional subscription costs a matter of a few pounds a month, and you can use this to brush up your Facebook page, to produce interesting and attractive looking content on your Instagram page. It's surprising how little money you need to put in to begin with in order to get yourself going and get some good quality tools working for you. So don't be put off by the myth that you don't have enough money to get started. It's not even necessarily about money, it's about your mentality. The most important thing to bring to the table when you begin is an authentic approach. People buy authenticity. They like people who seem passionate about what they do. So it's not about how many hundreds or thousands of pounds or dollars you put into your marketing or to creating your products to begin with. It's about the emotion and the passion that you bring with you. If your financial situation really is dire and you're struggling to make ends meet from month to month, then there is always a way to make some extra cash. You can maybe see if there's anything that you could sell that you don't need, whether it's items of clothing, electronic gadgets, anything that you're not using regularly that you think, okay, I could afford to sell this to begin with. Or perhaps ask friends if they have any odd jobs that need doing on the weekend. Not exactly the most glamorous lifestyle, I know, but it might help you to bring that extra cash in that you can then put into your business. There's always a way to find a little bit of extra cash if you look hard enough. Another thing that we'll be getting into later in your This Is My Name course is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a great way to bring the funds together that you need for a project, whilst giving the people who donate a behind-the-scenes look at what you're doing. There are some excellent crowdfunding platforms out there, such as Indiegogo and Kickstarter, to name two, where you set a target, and if you reach that target, then you'll receive the funds that you've asked people to donate, and then you can put those funds into your project, and that will help you to cover, for example, if you're a musician, costs like hiring a studio, a mixing engineer, hiring a mastering engineer, getting copies of your CD printed if you're doing CD format. Tapes are quite a big format at the moment as well. They're making a bit of a comeback. So those funds can be reappropriated for your business. So crowdfunding is a great idea that we're going to look into later on as well. So no matter what method it is that you'll use to bolster your finances, you do have the money that you need. Now to myth number 4. I don't have the time. If it's not money that people feel they're lacking, then it's time. Fortunately, again, a very low-level approach can be taken to begin with. Spend just 25 minutes or half an hour a day on what it is that you're looking to do. Whether it's writing a book, starting a meditation practice, whatever it is, you don't need to put in hours and hours a day to get things moving. People often stumble at this step thinking, I need to have a big chunk of time set aside to get things going with my business, to get it registered and so on. No, you don't. It's like learning a musical instrument. You'll benefit much more from practicing 25 or 30 minutes a day than you will doing a couple of long sessions a week. And this is particularly the case when you're just getting started and getting things off the ground. You'd be very surprised as to the progress you can make by doing just 25 or 30 minutes a day. But making regular progress means less time to forget where you last were, so you won't spend the first 15 or 20 minutes trying to get back on track. Plus, once you get into it, you may find yourself going for longer than just 25 or 30 minutes, which of course can only be a further benefit and can only help you to get more done. So give it a try. Unless you have a pretty cast iron excuse, you're not going to tell me you can't find 25 or 30 minutes a day from somewhere. Short bursts, done regularly, are what will help you to make progress, particularly at the beginning, not having huge amounts of spare time set aside. Once you've figured out how much time you can spare every day, treat that time as sacred. Treat those 25 minutes as sacred, because that's exactly what that time is. This is your time that you've set aside to work on your dream, whatever that dream is. And even if only doing 25 or 30 minutes a day may seem like making agonisingly slow progress, be patient. Something will give. It did for my book, and I've been selling copies quite nicely. The same will be true for you. Another piece of advice I'd like to give at this stage is one of my favourite quotes, which is, "I'm here now, so let's make the most of it." This doesn't necessarily relate specifically to finding your 25 or 30 minutes a day, but one thing I've often found in my experience of being in an office job is that when I come home at the end of the day, the last thing I feel like doing is working on my writing or working on my music. Not because I'm not enthusiastic about it, but because I'm a bit tired and a bit shattered from the workday. My positive approach towards a job that you don't really want to do is, okay, this isn't my ideal job. It's not really what I want to be doing in life. It's not where I want to be, but I'm here now. So let's put in the time. Let's make the best of it. Let's go home proud, knowing that I did my best for myself and for my customers. And then when I get home, I'll feel positive. I'll feel refreshed enough to get going, and then get going on what it is that you really want to do, your dream. Don't let your job, your day job, sap you of your energy. Adopt the attitude of, I'm here now, for better or for worse, so let's make the best of it, and you might find fortune and your energy levels turning in your favour. Now we get into some more psychological myths that people might fall for. Beliefs such as, nobody believes in me. Perhaps you're someone who's been told by authority figures or even your own peers that it's not worth trying, that your ideas are stupid and you should just give up. If that's you, don't listen. I speak again here from experience. I was bullied in school, to bare my soul with you a little, and I was sometimes told face to face by people that I had nothing interesting to say, that nothing I did was noteworthy, and that I just shouldn't bother. Let's question this kind of negative thinking that people have put upon you. First of all, who has told you this? Can you identify 2 or 3 negative voices in your head that have come from specific people who've tried to put you down in your life and have tried to give you that low level of confidence? You deserve to be self-confident, especially when it comes to doing what you love. Given how much you love it and given how much passion and blood, sweat and tears you put into it, don't let other people sap you of your confidence. So write down 2 or 3 names of people who've tried to put you down in your life. Then ask yourself, were they necessarily right, or were they just trying to put you down? There's a good chance they were just trying to make you feel bad for whatever reason. Perhaps they were having a bad day, perhaps they were just a vindictive, horrible person. If that's the case, then that attitude probably tells you more about them than that does about you. It's like that person who tried to tear me up in front of the class that time when I was in school. I felt very embarrassed and very upset at the time, but I look back now and realise he was the one who was being the jerk, not me. Anybody who feels the need to put someone down and treat them badly usually has something wrong with them rather than there being anything wrong with you. So question that kind of thinking and don't pay attention to it. You are worth something. So instead of listening to naysayers, find people who do believe in you. One method I like to use is Instagram. I know that Instagram is not everybody's thing, and there are other platforms out there, for example LinkedIn, that you might look into more. But via things like the hashtag system, you can find people who will believe in what you do and what you stand for. Even if you don't have a product or any ideas to share at the moment, start by sharing pictures or images or ideas that do matter to you. And using the hashtag system, you'll slowly start to identify the people out there who believe in you and who will support you along the way, who will like the content that you post out there and maybe even leave you your first comments. Another thing I would especially recommend is try accountability. Accountability is a very, very powerful tool for self-confidence. Find someone in your circle of friends or maybe your family who believes in what you do and would be happy to check in with you once a week so you can report back to them as to the goals that you've set. Maybe they can even do the same with you. Maybe there are 2 or 3 things they'd like to do with their week and you can ask them how they've been getting on. If not, you can find accountability groups on the internet, on the likes of Facebook, via Google. Some people are selling accountability groups for affordable prices. You'll find your feelings about yourself, your self-confidence, and thus your fortune changing. Because if you are given confidence by other people, then you will automatically approach your work more dynamically. And people will notice this, and the results will start to come and work in your favour. Myth number 6 is another psychological myth. The myth of, I can't handle rejection. Now, I know for a fact that some people are not very good with rejection. Some people not good at all. Some people despise rejection, and every rejection they receive in life is a crushing blow. I've been there. People have criticised my music, my art, my music videos, my writing, and it hurts. But it's okay to feel hurt. Hurt is a natural reaction when someone attacks something that you deeply care about. Even people who've been in the game or their particular business for several decades still get hurt or feel sad if people criticise their work unfairly. But failure does not define you. If you fail to secure a certain endorsement, or if you fail to reach a particular target that you've set for yourself, that does not mean that your work sucks. It just means that there are probably some areas that you need to improve on, or that you need to keep going. For example, if you're a tennis player, you're bound to have some losses in life. You wouldn't expect realistically to win every single match that you played in. Failure is important so that we can grow. And that leads me on to my next point. Failure is just feedback. Failure is not a sign that you should give up or that you're stupid for trying. Failure is a sign that there are certain areas of your game that you need to improve. And that's whether it's a physical game such as tennis or whether it's whatever your particular passion is about. There is no failure, only feedback. So try again and incorporate what you've learned. Incorporate whatever feedback you've been given, even if it feels uncomfortable to begin with. You'll never know if you don't. Try it and you might be surprised at the results. Failure is a natural part of the process, and it's what helps us to grow. Myth number 7 is related to number 6. I'm frightened to share my work with others. Now, this is a natural fear, especially for beginners. The first time I went on stage and played guitar, I was terrified. I could literally feel the ground moving beneath my feet, so So I understand how it can feel to put your work out there for the first time and to have no idea of the reaction that you're about to get. The good news is there will be people who will like it. If you're a musician doing something new, people will listen to it and people will give you nice feedback. If you're an artist doing your first set of paintings, or if you're sculpting your first pieces, there will be people who will like it and who will give you positive feedback and encouragement. So don't worry about that, you will find your supporters. Any constructive criticism that you receive is okay, where people say, for example, I didn't quite like the way that you sang that vocal, I think that you could possibly benefit from some training. As long as people are saying that in a constructive way and in a way that isn't just meant to demoralise you and to be insulting, then that's okay. As for any unconstructive criticism, for example, oh, that was crap, just give up, take that on the chin and move on. Like I've just said, criticism like that does not define you. It doesn't mean that you are rubbish. It probably just means that that person's a bit of an insensitive moron. So take criticism like that on the chin and move on. The more such criticism you do get, the better you'll get at taking it on the chin and just accepting it. It's not easy, I speak from experience, but remember, there will be people who do encourage you. There'll be people who give you kind feedback. Just focus on that and you'll be fine. Other than that, look at the pros. Look at people who you admire for their work. What are they doing that perhaps you could adopt? Is there any particular strategy or technique or tip that they have? You can even write to them directly and say, I'm having trouble getting my own work off the ground. What would you recommend? In my experience, most people, such as, for example, mixing engineers or studio mastering engineers, are only too happy to share their ideas with you and to help a fellow artist flourish. Another one is myth number 8. People won't be interested. This simply isn't true. Somebody out there is already doing very well at what you're doing. I don't care what it is that you're interested in. If you're interested in, I don't know, designing slippers, here's a rubbish example, but if you're interested in that, then you can find someone out there who's doing that and doing it very well and earning quite nicely from it, and they have the respect of their customers. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're into, even if it's something that you think is really niche. Trust me, you can find someone out there who's doing that very thing or doing something that's related to that thing and doing very well with it. So it's not that people won't be interested, you just need to find the people who are. Also, don't be threatened or put off by other people's success. If you're a struggling writer, for example, and you see other writers out there who are doing very well, getting a lot of attention and selling lots of copies of their books, it doesn't mean that they've cheated the system or that they're just lucky. It's probably that they've just been in the game longer than you have. But use their success as a sign that you can do it as well. Don't let negative thinking sink in, whatever that negative thinking might be. Be happy for those people. Like I've said, take inspiration from the success that they've had. If they've had success, remember, they started out from nothing. It means that you too can succeed. And in that respect, continue to be patient. I know that patience can be annoying, but it will come. In German, there's a saying that goes, Der Weg ist das Ziel. Translated into English, that basically means the journey is its own reward. You will learn more about yourself, what it is that you like, and what you'd like to do on your journey. So be patient, success will come, even if it takes a little while to figure it out. Something I mentioned as part of myth number 8 was the notion of being niche. Some people might think, I'm too niche. Like I've said before, it's okay to be niche. Having a niche is good because it sets you apart from other people and helps you to get through to your particular target audience. In the action plan chapter of Folk Springs Eternal, I talk about Leah McHenry, a Canadian musician whose music has been described as female-fronted Celtic symphonic metal. Now your reaction might be, female-fronted what? And if that is your reaction, then good. It's important to have a niche, because then you can get through to the people who like your particular combination of styles, your particular twist. It will help you to stand out from the pack. More to the point, if you care about what you do, then trust me, so will other people. You will very, very rarely come across a hobby that no one else is interested in, that no one else will bond with you over. If you care about it, so will other people out there. You just need to find them. Finally, we come to myth number 10. I'm not professional enough. This is another myth that has to do with lack. If this is you, then, like I've said before, draw inspiration from successful people. If you start a YouTube channel and you don't have very many subscribers, look at people in your area who do have a lot of subscribers. What are they doing that's going down particularly well, that impresses you, that you think, yeah, I could try my hand at that? That will help you to improve and to improve your outreach. Work on your delivery, for example. When it comes to presenting anything in spoken format, speaking in front of a camera can be a nerve-wracking experience to begin with. Again, I speak from my own experience. But watch yourself back, note what it is that you do that you think is good, note what you could improve upon, and maybe watch what other people do. How are the pros doing it, and what are they doing well? Another thing you can do, purely in terms of video, is to get a green screen. Green screens and the stands that you put them on are pretty inexpensive, but put one of those in the background of your videos and you can get rid of the background clutter so that people will focus in on you, or you could possibly put a nice picture in the background that will help to professionalize your videos. Green screens are a godsend in that respect, and there are many affordable pieces of software out there that will interface with green screens and allow you to choose the background that you want for your video content. As a general rule, practice makes perfect. Whatever it is that you're looking to improve upon in terms of your professional delivery and professional approach, keep practicing, keep asking people for feedback as well. Ask people who do like your work what you think you could do even better. They will give you pointers, things that you probably won't have thought of yourself. Incorporate those ideas and keep refining your technique until it gets better and better, and so do the results. And last of all, a little bonus myth. This one is, I just wasn't made to be a successful entrepreneur. Again, I've been there. Identify those negative voices. Who has made you think that, or what has happened in your life that has made you think that you're just not made to be a creative entrepreneur? There's only one person in charge of the destiny of your life, and that's you, or at least that's the way it should be. So figure out what it is that's holding you back mentally in that respect. Identify it, and then think of ways that you could address that, or ways that you could push through those negative beliefs and that negative self-talk. In the same sense, work on your resilience. There are many ways to do this. You could keep a list of your successes so far, so you can refer to them as social proof. Ask people for positive feedback on what you do well, and keep a list of that as well to refer to during any tough or doubtful times. Cultivate a sense of pride in yourself and in your work. You deserve to be proud of what you're doing. There's no reason you should be ashamed for doing what you genuinely enjoy, even if some people may not get it or may not like it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do more of what you love in life. So don't let anyone make you feel that way. So all in all, start with the little successes and then build your way up. You'll look back at some point and be very pleased with how much you've come on. Be realistic in terms of what you've achieved so far and in terms of what you wish to achieve, but celebrate those wins and don't dwell for too long on the rejections. Use rejection as fuel to your fire to help you get better and to help you reach new heights. So I hope you found that useful. What I'd like you to do now is two things. Firstly, I'd like you to download the PDF notepaper that I've prepared for this video. You can get it from the YouTube description, or you can get it underneath the video on my website, and then either print it out, fill it in, following the instructions that I'll give in a second, and file it away. I prefer that method because it keeps everything nice and neat. Or you can just type it up on your computer and save it. But what I'd like you to do is to write down the 3 or 4 roadblocks that have been holding you back in your life. What negative beliefs have you held about yourself? How long have they been around? How long have they been holding you back? And what do you think you can do, crucially, to break through them? And then feel free to leave me a comment on YouTube or on my website telling me what those beliefs are. If you do it on YouTube, you'll see what other people comment as well. And you'll probably realise you're not alone in having these fears or these concerns. And perhaps there are 1 or 2 myths that I didn't mention in the video that you think I perhaps could have mentioned, or that you've suffered from, in which case, drop me a comment. The second thing I'd like you to do, of course, is to watch the next video, video number 3, where we'll be figuring out our roadmap. In other words, where are we, what are our goals, and therefore, where are we going? Another very important piece of the puzzle. I'll see you in the next video.